Hi, my friends. Welcome back to Money Breath Magic, where we talk all things money on this channel. We are in the middle of our 4-part series where I'm taking you through how to heal your relationship with money. If you didn't catch part 1, go back and listen to that first because we are building on it every single week. Last week, we talked about your relationship with money and how that actually closely correlates to your relationship to love, to the attachment styles, and your relationship to partnership in general. But we also talked about how your relationship with money directly correlates to your relationship with yourself. Most business owners think that their money problems comes down to strategy. Maybe they're not managing their money correctly, they're not budgeting properly, they're not moving money around properly. But what I see over and over again with the clients that I work with, that it comes down to a pattern that they don't actually even know that they have. Today, I'm walking you through the 4 money patterns that I see over and over again with the business owners that I work with that are keeping them stuck even when their business is growing. And this week, we're just gonna talk through those patterns, and I want you to just reflect. Like, do you see these come up for yourself? Do you see them in your business? And at the end of this episode, I'm gonna give you some journal prompts to help you reflect on these patterns so you can notice them within yourself. And then next week, we're gonna start actually shifting them. Let's dive into it. The first pattern that I see with the people that I work with are feeling like there is never enough money. This can happen regardless of the amount of money that you have in your bank account. You could have $1 in your bank account and you could have $1 million in your bank account and you could still feel like it's not enough. So let's think about it. Money is a resource. It's a tool. We all need money, right? We all need money to live. We need money to survive, to buy food or clothing or house. Like, it is something that we need to survive. And so if we feel like money is a threat, that we are going to lose it, that we potentially might not make more of it, that it's scarce, that we're lacking in it. Our nervous system, if we're not regulated around money, is seeing this as, oh my gosh, Sue Ellen might die. Like, this is a literal threat to my survival. And what then ends up happening is it generates this feeling of anxiousness and overwhelm constantly. Like, how am I going to make more of it? How am I going to protect it? How am I going to hoard it? And the way that I see this with my clients is they could be having a successful business, multi-6 figures in their business, super healthy fat profit margins, and they still come to me and they feel like it is not enough. It has nothing to do with the amount of money in their business and their bank account. It has everything to do with not feeling safe. The second pattern that I see quite often with the business owners that I work with is the fear of spending, or even like guilt of spending, because they have this fear that the money is not going to circulate back to them. And so what this looks like in business is I've had clients in the past where they are generating money in their business, they have healthy cash flow, and they have a goal to invest in some sort of training or continuing education program that costs maybe thousands of dollars, and they have never in the past felt safe circulating money. They will resist investing in that continuing education program for fear that they won't be able to make the money back. But if we can take ourselves out of that situation and look at it from a bird's eye lens, that continuing education program is an investment in herself that will generate more income because she's generating more skills. She's becoming more valuable. Her work is becoming more valuable. So a lot of times when there is this fear of spending or guilt of spending money because there's this fear of not getting it back, we're actually blocking ourselves from increasing our value, which is again going to increase the amount of money that we can receive in exchange for that value. So the very thing that could be increasing their earning capacity is the exact thing that they avoid. The third thing that I see quite often, specifically in the industry that I work with, so I work with a lot of wellness, spiritual entrepreneurs, people that are in the health and wellness space. This is a common pattern that I see with them is underpricing their services. And this is, believe it or not, a nervous system response. It's called fawning, where it's almost like a people-pleasing response, where when we fall into this response, we feel like we need to underprice our services so we don't lose clients, or that we are able to bring on more clients because we feel like if we charge what our services are actually valued at, that people won't want to pay us for our services. The way that this shows up a lot of times with the business owners that I work with is they feel some sort of guilt or shame for charging for their services because it is a service that is actually healing people and that's helping people. And it's servicing people in a way that they feel like should be accessible to everyone. And while yes, maybe we don't want to make all of our services inaccessible, we still deserve to be paid for the value that our work provides. When this pattern comes up, business owners often get stuck at the same income level year after year, and they end up overworking and underpricing, and it just keeps them stuck. And then the last pattern that I see, number 4, I think almost like 90% of the people that come to work with me fall in this pattern, and that's avoiding their numbers. And so they end up coming to me when they're at their wits' end. They haven't been looking at their numbers at all. They have all of this stress and this anxiety and this overwhelm because they know as a business owner, you need to be looking at your numbers. It is probably the most important thing in your business because you can't make financial decisions. You can't even make decisions about your offers and what you're selling and your products and services, pricing. You need to know your numbers. So if you have a pattern of ignoring your numbers, not looking at them, not doing your books on a monthly basis, if you're just waiting until tax time to look at your profit and loss statement, that is a pattern that needs to be healed. So we have feeling like it's never enough, no matter how much income that we're making in our business. We have the fear of spending or guilt of spending because we're too scared that the money is not going to come back to us. We have the underpricing of our services because we don't value the work that we do, or we feel like we need to offer it at a lower price. And then we have number 4, avoiding our numbers and not looking at them. And so as you think about these 4 patterns that I see come up with clients all the time, I want you to think back to part 1 of this series and the attachment styles and see how these patterns are very closely linked to the different attachment styles. So the people that come to me and they say, oh, money is just not enough, it's scarce, they a lot of times have the anxious attachment style to money. Or if we think about the people who have a fear of spending, they feel guilty about spending. A lot of times that's the fearful attachment style to money. And then we have the people who are underpricing their services. They're not valuing their work. That's fearful because they are scared that they're not going to be able to get compensated for what the value of their work is. Or they're fearful that they're not going to have any clients. They're not going to get any work, no sales, fearful that they're not going to have any money. And then the last one, people avoiding their numbers. That's the avoidant attachment style. So I just want you to connect the dots here. Like how these relationship attachment styles, how they are so closely linked to our relationship with money. So we have these 4 patterns, and these are just the 4 that I see most often. There are many patterns. There's many things that could be coming up for you in your business and your life. We're just going through these top 4 in this video series. These patterns are holding you back in your business. They're holding you back in your business and your life. They're holding you back in your ability to create more money and more wealth, to expand your capacity to receive more money and wealth. And so we need to break them. And the first step that we take is awareness. We just need to become aware of the pattern, where it came from, what is triggering it, so then we can go in and heal it. So in order to do that, we need to understand our money story. And so what this is typically from ages 0 to 7, our brain, our little childhood brain is like a sponge. It is absorbing everything that we see, everything that we experience, and it starts taking it and developing stories around whatever we experience. So from 0 to 7, our parents, our caregivers, the way that they interacted with money, and the stories that they told us about money, and the things that we witnessed around money, whether it was fighting or arguing or hoarding or constantly saying, we can't afford that, whatever it was, that was influencing and getting stored in our little minds. We also pick up these patterns from society and the way that society is built and the things that we are taught are normal from society, from friends or other relationships that we were in, maybe partnerships. Perhaps we experienced some sort of financial trauma in a relationship that we were in. We can pick up on these from work settings. Perhaps we were underpaid at work and overworked. Perhaps we got laid off all of a sudden, unexpectedly. Perhaps we were fired from our job and that really hit our self-worth and our self-concept. There's other life experience that could have happened beyond our childhood. Social media, the things that we see projected to us on social media, all of this can be stored in our subconscious and triggering the way that we interact with money. So for this week, we're just going to become aware of the patterns that we are seeing in our own life as it relates to money. So I'm going to give you 4 journal prompts that I want you to journal on this week, and we're going to build on it next week and start learning how to shift these patterns that we're spotting within our own life. So the first question is, what did my parents or my caregivers teach me about money? Or what did I observe and experience as it relates to money? So this could be if they're constantly saying to you, we can't afford that, or money doesn't grow on trees. If you constantly witness fighting, or you constantly witness your mom not spending money on herself, what was your experience? Describe your upbringing and what you experienced and learned and witnessed in your childhood around money. And then number 2, I want you to look at your own patterns in your life and in your business and see if you can recognize any sort of pattern as it relates to money. So are you someone that falls in one of these 4 buckets? You're underpricing, you're avoiding your money, you're telling yourself that there's never enough money. Are you scared of spending? Or is it something else? Maybe you overspend. Maybe you subconsciously spend your money the minute it comes in. Maybe you're noticing that you're constantly feeling anxious when a deposit comes in because it's bigger than what you're used to seeing. Maybe you feel overwhelmed when it comes to actually like facilitating and managing your money. Like, is there any sort of pattern or feeling or emotion that you are constantly witnessing when you interact with money? Number 3, I want you to reflect on what are your beliefs around people who have a lot of money? Do you believe that wealthy people are evil, that wealthy people are bad, that good people just miss out on a lot of money? Like, what are your beliefs around people and yourself having a lot of money? And then number 4, I want you to think about what is the worst thing that would happen if you end up having a lot of money? Do you think that people will judge you if you have a lot of money? Do you think that you'll be unrelatable? Do you think that your family or your friends will take advantage of you? What is the worst thing that could happen if you end up having a lot of money? And then from all of this reflection, I want you to write down the top 3 money stories that you are ready to get rid of today. And we're going to start clearing those in the future videos. So I hope you got something out of this video. This is part 2 of our 4-part series. The next video, we are going to be covering how we actually integrate and start shifting these patterns that we've noticed these last 2 weeks. And then in part 4, I have a very special breathwork practice ready for you to help you release these money stories that have come up and start calling in your most wealthiest business and life yet. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you got out of this video. Maybe tell me what's your number 1 story that you're ready to release and let go of. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss the next parts of this series. I can't wait to see you there and have an amazing week ahead. Chat with you all later. Bye.